Boy, I love a good Dutch crunch loaf. Nice, crusty, easy to make bread that makes some dynamite sandwiches and can make Howard, the neighborhood baker, shut up about his 15-year-old sourdough starter that he uses for everything. Who's got 15 years to wait for bread, Howard? Also, I can barely take care of myself, let alone a sourdough starter. This recipe is for all the other bakers out there who want to impress but not take until the turn of the next century to produce a single baguette. We're starting by very carefully adding the wrong amount of lukewarm water. I put in 250 grams at first, but we want to do 350 grams, so I added a little bit more later, so don't worry about it. Side note, for baking you really want to weigh it out. I'll leave some approximate measurements in the recipe in the description for those who don't have a kitchen scale, but honestly it's a cheap and great investment if you are into that sort of thing. And baking is a science, so try and be as accurate as possible. So, that being said, let's add 8 grams of active dry yeast, and I happen to know that this yeast is good, but you can let it bloom for like 10 to 15 minutes if you just want to be safe. Okay, so we're using bread flour, and it's gonna be 500 grams. I know you could use all-purpose flour, and I'm not gonna knock you for it, but I am just saying bread flour is generally better for bread, go figure. We're gonna add 15 grams of Vital Wheat Gluten. This is technically optional, but again, we're going for something a little special here, so it does give good texture to our loaf. Baking is a science, I'm telling you. Now that all that yeast is covered, we can add a pinch or two of salt, because we do want to keep those separate. And this dough is ready to mix. Fine, I'll do it by hand, just to demonstrate how easy this is. Actually, the thing is, you really don't want to knead this that much. That's right, this is a low knead dough. It's strong, it's self-sufficient, it borrowed my car, but I trusted it to return it because if it got a scratch on it, I know it'd be good for covering the damages. Yeah, faith in humanity is of the past. Okay, once it's basically just barely together, that's when you want to cover it with a damp cloth and let it hang out for an hour or so until it's doubled in size. At that point, we can preheat our oven to about 450 degrees Fahrenheit exactly. Next, we're going to get some parchment paper, dust it with a little bit of flour, and gently pop that Pillsbury Doughboy down, sliding it gently to the middle. Then it's a sort of tuck and roll motion, and into the Dutch oven, which if you don't have, you could do it on a pizza stone or some other method probably. I'm not sure, I'm just doing it with a Dutch oven. You could make a fun pattern on the top if you want and lid the whole affair and bake for a whopping 30 minutes. Certified fresh by Rotten Tomatoes, which is another thing that I don't understand, but I'm not going to get into it again because I spent way too much time on it when I was studying for my dissertation on the effects of vegetation in cinema. I went for a doctorate in stock footage. Get it? Like celery stock? But also like stock, like Getty. Yeah, I didn't pass the dissertation, they didn't get it either. You know what goes good with fresh bread? Fresh soup. Perfect for when you're shifting into soup mode. Cue Seinfeld bass walk. Check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, or whatever you feel like doing. But also do the like, comment, and subscribe part. We need that. Real bad. Please. Ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom. I don't know the Seinfeld bass walk.